So every title race throws up a fixture that makes you look at the mirror. It shows you who you are, not what you think you are. And there are games that ask a lot of technical questions of you. And Brighton away is that kind of game. They press properly, they build properly, they're comfortable with the ball, and they won't shrink when they don't have the ball either. So this is a game, a side that wants to play. And if Arsenal wants to get to the end of the season and win this title, then they have to win games where control is not handed over to them, where they're going to have to impose their control. Welcome, guys, to the Gooner Pavilion. And if you're new here, appreciate you for stopping by. And if you've been rocking with us from the start of the season, I appreciate you guys. And you know how we do it. We're going to go into our Arsenal versus Brighton, Brighton versus Arsenal preview after that huge win against Chelsea over the weekend. Let's get into it and let's break down this preview. Okay, so Arsenal coming to a good place. After the win against Chelsea, a win against Spurs as well, that was immense. The Spurs game was immense because it needed to just reset things. And this Chelsea game for me was a game that told me that Arsenal knows how to respond, especially with City playing the day before and winning that game. It wasn't a perfect game, but it showed a lot of resilience. And this can build the kind of behavior that you want going into the final 9 games of the season. Now, Brighton are more unpredictable. They can look like European in their patterns one week and then completely open the next. They're brave in possession, and bravery means that they leave space, which is important. So this is going to be a game with composure, especially with a quick turnaround, because we played on Sunday against Chelsea late, and now we're playing on Wednesday against Brighton. Now, what Brighton will try to do under Hustler, Brighton still commit to the identity, right? Verbruggen builds with short passes, and then Dong steps in. Pascal Gross, tends to float between the lines. And if Milner plays, he will keep the tempo honest. Although I'm not sure that Milner is going to play in this game. Mitoma, if he's fit and playing, will try to isolate on the outside. And then, of course, Welbeck will occupy the near post channel. Now, Brighton is a team that, like Chelsea, we faced a couple of times, faced them in the cup, faced them in the league as well. So this is probably going to be a Brighton that would have learned from those performances against Arsenal, who they played us very well, and they played us, quite tough as well. They'll want Arsenal to press without coordination and then try to stretch the pitch horizontally, slipping a lot of vertical passes once space opens up. So if Arsenal hesitate for even 10 minutes, Brighton will look very comfortable. And this is a team that we have struggled with. It's a team that only recently we started to turn the tide, but before Arteta, this was a team that have won more than we've actually won against them. Now, it does make me think about Arsenal's away performance and the pattern in those games. Brentford, had long spells of control without incision. Wolves had dominance, especially in, key duels and threats and things like that. And earlier in the season at Forest, there was territory from Arsenal without aggression in the final third. That changes Spurs. Arsenal were quicker, they ran beyond earlier, they attacked second balls with conviction. It might have been that that's just the North London derby, but that's the version of Arsenal that I want to see in this away performance. And it's the version of Arsenal that we must show in the next couple of away performances that we have before the end of the season. Something that I wanted to talk about and just lean on to in this game, and it's really the importance of fresh legs. This is an accusation that we've had of Mikel Arteta, for a lot of seasons before now, in terms of trusting his bench and bringing in players to relieve the likes of Saka, the likes of Rice, the likes of Gabriel Saliba. This is the reason why you build the squad that you have, and you shouldn't be afraid to use it. I think you can treat this as a cup game where it's win or go home. and still rotate. And I would want to see a lot of rotation there. Um, and I think we can rotate without disrupting the rhythm at the right moments. For me, Nørgaard is a player that can come in. He brings balance and structure in that midfield. Depending on where Odegaard is, and I don't know whether Odegaard is going to be rushed for this game. But the likes of Madueke gives you a very direct threat against fullbacks who push higher. And especially the fact that Madueke didn't even come on against Chelsea makes me think that there is a possibility that Madueke might start this game, which is exactly what we should be doing in this game. I think Madueke is a capable deputy for Saka, should come into the game. Martinelli brings that unpredictable running, right? That can unsettle possession teams when they lose the ball. And just think about what he did in terms of creating the red card against Chelsea. So I think that if we match the intensity and ambition of Brighton, fresh legs are going to be important in this game, and as well as they're going to be tactical now. For those who've been following the channel, we've been doing this thing about Road to 90, and I'm going to zoom out a little bit, just a bit, just to talk about the context of this game. We now have 64 points. This game is in our manageable bucket, right? Where the old target was 23. It's no longer realistic now. We're running out of games. So Arsenal have taken 12 from this group of fixtures, and there's only 9 points left available. So the maximum has got to be 21 now. We got Brighton away, we got West Ham away, and then we've got Newcastle at home. Now, these are games that we're going to have to get the maximum points, from this game in order to be able to do anything. So the margins are tight now for us. City will still be having that one more game before the Etihad meeting. So for me, Brighton is just another away game. We need to treat it as such. 3 points and we move on. Now, for me, key battles in this game is going to be Rice and Zubimendi. I know he'll probably play, but Rice and whoever plays within Zubimendi or Nørgaard against Gross, who controls tempo for Brighton. If Arsenal dominate a lot of those second balls, they will dominate this game. Wide areas are going to matter, as well. Brighton fullbacks are brave and aggressive, which can create space when it comes to transition, right? So Martinelli and Saka or Madueke could find themselves with room to attack if Arsenal can be decisive. And being decisive means that we get those vertical balls into the final part of the pitch a lot quicker. And then the battle is going to be Gyökeres against Dunk. This is going to be your real physical battle. A little bit like, what Gyökeres was having with Dragosin in that Spurs game. It's going to be psychological. It's going to be territorial. And Gyökeres has got to have his game on in terms of just pinning and the centre back. Now, is there a temptation to play Gabriel Jesus in this game? I wouldn't. I will play Gyökeres. I think he can, and then Gabriel Jesus can come in to play parts of the game as well. But I think that if Arsenal can push Brighton back and Dunk steps forward, then we can actually get some damage done in this game. So with that being said, I think the lineup in this game is going to be Raya, and then you're going to have Timber, Saliba, Gabriel, and Kapia. That feels very likely, even though I would want to see some rotation in the squad. A rest for Timber, Mosquera coming in. I think that could work. In Kapia, Miles Lewis Kelly, this is a game that he could play as well. We're now coming to the part where I know it's the business end of the season, but this is an opportunity to actually get some fresh legs in that will not really, really impact the squad. And then you can bring in players later on, to seal the deal if you need that. Zubimendi and Rice anchoring that midfield. There is rotation option to put Nørgaard in there as well. Madueke from the right, Martinelli from the left, and Gyökeres through the middle. Depending on what happens with Odegaard, we might see, some changes with regards to Odegaard, but I think this one is just calibrated, changes for me. How I think this game will go. Brighton will have spells, no question about it. They're gonna make this feel balanced for periods. But Arsenal has got to show maturity, especially after the last two away games against teams that we were supposed to beat. And maybe it comes down to that. Maybe that's what it is. Against teams that we know we're going to have a good game or going to have a tough game, it seems to focus the mind. Against teams that we're expected to beat, and make no mistake, I think everyone would expect Arsenal to beat Brighton, no matter how Brighton is playing. This is where we're going to have to be professional, and we cannot get sucked into playing football at the pace and the level that Brighton wants. So I'm going to go for a 2-1 victory to Arsenal. Nothing spectacular, just professional. Because at this stage of the season, what's even more important is composure. And believe me, City are going to be having the same sort of nerves, in their game as well. But we just got to do what we need to do in our game. So handle it, take the points, and move on to the next one. But guys, let me know what you think about the preview. Let me know what you think about the Arsenal game. Drop your predictions. If you're not already following us, if you're not already subscribed to the channel, please subscribe to the channel, like it as well, and share this with other Arsenal fans if you really enjoyed this preview. And of course, we'll be back to do our post-game preview, 3 ups, 3 down. Check out the video on the Chelsea game. I'm sure you're going to love it. I'll see you in the next one.